I feel like as AI and slop, everything increases, noise increases. We need the things that can counteract that. And that is human connection. And so podcasting is great for that. But you take podcasting, which is great for bridging and creating human connection, you throw in an event where we're all there together in proximity, and you really get some magic. Welcome to Connect to Market. I'm Casey Cheshire. Join the conversation with the marketing leaders driving the fastest growing B2B brands. We're sponsored by Ringmaster, building B2B podcasts and communities to reconnect you with your audience. Hey guys, welcome to a special edition of the Connect to Market pod. I'm coming to you live from Las Vegas, and we are in the Ringmaster Mobile Podcast Studio. We're so excited to be here. We've set this whole studio up in a hotel suite for one of the podcasts that we produce, and it's very exciting. I've got camera angles, we've got multiple microphones, and I just wanted to take a moment in between some recordings to record just a little something for you all out there in the CTM community or those that listen to the podcast, and just talk a little bit about live events and podcasts. So a little quick special episode. And a couple things I want to do. One, I want to have some shout outs to some of our CTM members that I've been able to chat with. And then two, I want to share some of the event magic that we've seen that works really well here. So first and foremost, shout out to Kevin Ellison. We all know him. We all love him. He's been on the podcast, and he's definitely been an outstanding member in the breakouts. And I met with Kevin yesterday. We had a fantastic conversation about the future of AI. And it really got me thinking. In fact, I decided I need to start introducing him to other people, just because after an hour of chatting with Kevin, I realized I'm not moving fast enough. So shout out to him, and also Carl Vandenberg. Great to meet him earlier today. Not only did we chat about Italy and AI, but we chatted about really that balance, that human balance for striving for growth, but then also happiness, right? Sometimes we work too hard and we don't have that joy in life. So really balancing that. It was just a really cool conversation. So I love events like these because I get to meet people in person. And, we're all about human connection here. I'm obsessed with human connection. I feel like as AI and slop, everything increases, noise increases. We need the things that can counteract that. And that is human connection. And so podcasting is great for that. But you take podcasting, which is great for bridging and creating human connection, you throw in an event where we're all there together in proximity, and you really get some magic. So I wanted to share just a little bit of some of the things I've seen that works really well. If you've got a podcast and you go to an event, that they all tie in together. First and foremost, it can create a buzz around your booth, a buzz around your suite. If just maybe you decided not to do a booth, but it can create some energy around it because of hot takes. Hot takes can be really cool. And what that is it's just literally asking 1, 2, 3 questions of someone passing by, maybe someone you just had a sales meeting with, maybe someone who's at your party that you're hosting. And you just ask them, hey, where do you think this is going? What's the future of this? What have you gotten from this event? What's your big takeaway? And you can throw in some different questions there, right? You put all those questions together. Now you've got a special episode of your podcast. And you can tag half a dozen people who all contributed to the information that you shared. So I love podcasts and events for that same reason. Next, meetings. We all know we want to book up those meetings. We want to get sales busy with meetings. And sometimes people just decide not to show. Maybe they had too many drinks at the cost show, or maybe they just deprioritize the meeting, because sometimes sales meetings, let's be honest, are kind of a take, right? It's a take action. But one of the things I've seen is that podcasts are a give, right? I'm giving my time and my attention. I'm sitting across from you, staring in your eyes, and we're chatting about this topic in this industry that we both love. It's an awesome way to start a relationship. So I see a lot more meetings occur when it's based around doing a podcast episode together. And ideally you do a prep call beforehand, but even still, having someone show up for the meeting rather than ghosting you is a real good reason for having a podcast interview. And if that person that's going to be a guest just happens to be a dream future client of yours, now we've got some ROI starting to show up for your event too.
Hey marketing leaders, it's Amanda here from Ringmaster B2B Podcasting. In today's market, B2B buying is built on one thing, trust. And there's no better way to build that trust than through a podcast that builds connection. At Ringmaster, we help you launch and grow shows that will amplify your brand and can help drive real demand. The best part? We handle all the heavy lifting so you can focus on the big picture. So if you've been thinking about starting a podcast for your brand or taking your existing one to the next level, visit ringmaster.com to chat and book a call.
Finally, we've mentioned energy a little bit before, but there's something about in person. There's something about physically shaking hands that we just can't quite do. Giving a virtual Zoom wave goodbye, right? There's something about being in person that there's an energy to it. There's all sorts of things happening. And we had a great time with some of the folks we worked with last night. And you couldn't put a dollar amount on that, but you also couldn't really label that. That was like just real human connection, having a good time together. We weren't necessarily talking shop, but inevitably it seeps in there because podcasts are life. Am I right? I mean, come on. So we chat a little bit of shop, but mostly it's just chatting about what's going on in our lives. And there's so much energy and magic to that. I feel like if you're recording a podcast live in person at an event, you pick up on some of that energy, especially if it's one of your customers. And this ties into our last thing, which is customer stories. It's one thing to have them tell a customer story on like a very clean, gray wall backdrop, telling about how great your software is, like they're held at gunpoint, right? It's a totally different thing to see that leader talking to your leader and they're having a great time and they're just showing how much they trust each other on a podcast conversation. It's a different kind of conversation, right? I think we trust that more than we trust really clean, sterilized advertisements, right? We've been trained to just not pay attention to advertisements. But when it comes to a human connection, a human conversation, we tend to really lock into that. So I love getting the customers in, seeing them record, and then make some great content. Some customer referrals just naturally come about. You don't even have to ask them to do it. You just sit a customer down in front of you and let her rip. It's fantastic. Final point, bonus point. We've seen this work really well, and there's a lot of interest in this. Internal conversations. You got so much great thought leaders internally that don't you want to share that information externally? And I know oftentimes your guests are not people in your company, right? And so the challenge can often be, well, how do we get thought leadership out on our podcast if our guests are always talking? Well, make your guest an internal evangelist, an internal thought leader, an internal expert, and then suddenly you're putting out really good content straight from your own lips, straight from your own company on that podcast. So I hope these things were helpful. I hope you can tell I'm super excited. I'm going to go get after it. I may check out the pool. You're all welcome to join me. This has just been a fun little quick episode to record and to do it live in our podcast studio. I'm like so excited for this. And if you're interested in doing something like this, just shoot me a DM. We're happy to show up to your next event or conference and make it magical. So with that, everyone, this has been a crazy cool, very short, but kind of fun episode of the Connect to Market Pod. We will see you all next time. And that wraps up another episode. Thank you for joining. For show notes and other episodes, visit us at connecttomarket.com. Connect to Market is sponsored by Ringmaster, creating podcasts and communities that create relationships, generate revenue, and drive growth.